All right, guys, welcome back. Xbox has had their Tokyo Game Show. There's lots of interesting announcements that came out of that. I will go over the stuff that I think is interesting, as well as all the games coming to Game Pass and Play Anywhere. They really did highlight that there was one major thing missing from that showcase, but by the time you're watching this, the information should be available out there for that specific thing. New PS5 Pro version could be on its way, which is a very interesting thing here at a time like this. And we have a couple of other things to talk about, a company breaking off from Tencent and stuff. So we will get into all of this, but before we do, if you enjoy daily gaming news content, make sure to hit the subscribe, share this video, like it. Really helps get the channel out there and helps grow this community. Also, I have a community post up. I will be streaming. So if you have anything that you want me to talk about, go check out that community post in my community tab on the channel. Post links, post any comments, questions you have, whatever, and I will take a look at that as well. But for now, let's get into everything else. So the Xbox Tokyo Game Show has come, it has gone. There's been mixed reactions to it. I thought it was a decent show, not the greatest show in the world. Obviously, with the announcements that they put out there, it's specifically targeting the Japanese region. The major thing that did come out of the show, however, is something that most of us already knew about, which was Forza Horizon 6 did get announced. It is taking place in Japan, and it is coming out in 2026. And there's a lot of discussion as to how they are going about with the release of Forza Horizon 6. They are releasing it first on Xbox and on PC, and then they're going to be releasing it later down the line on the PlayStation 5. A lot of people outspoken about this. You had Mikey Barra coming out, which I think now is a deleted tweet, kind of questioning why they aren't releasing it on the PlayStation 5 at the same time as they are releasing it on Xbox, considering how good Forza Horizon 5 did do on the PS5 when it did launch, selling millions of copies and just being on the top of the PlayStation sales chart. So I think people were expecting with the next iteration it would be launching day one, but that will not be the case. And it makes sense for a couple of reasons. The first one is you put Forza Horizon 6 on Xbox and PC first, and then you put it on PlayStation 5 later. You're going to get people signing up to Game Pass to play, and that's where they do want to push people, as well as it does highlight the advantages of playing Forza Horizon on Xbox versus PlayStation with things like Xbox Play Anywhere. Even if it does launch on PlayStation, you're just getting less value for your dollar by buying that version with everything that Xbox does offer. The other thing is the team behind it just may not be set up yet to be able to take on getting the game out on the same time on PlayStation as they do on Xbox. But I think it's more of a marketing strategy, and I think it's more of putting the game out, time exclusive, a big game like Forza Horizon, which you know will bring people over. There will be people on PlayStation that decide, hey, I'm not waiting until this comes to PS5. I'm just going to go sign up to Game Pass or purchase it on PC and play it there, and maybe purchase it in the Xbox ecosystem so I have the whole Play Anywhere thing. Maybe even go out and buy an Xbox console to play it, or a handheld, something along those lines, and rather than waiting for it to come to PS5. And they'll get some of those people, and then when it launches on PS5, it will still be a top seller on that platform. So it is a win-win by having the timed exclusivity for that game from the business perspective. And here are some of the highlights of this game when it did get announced. Coming 2026 to Xbox and PC. It is confirmed for PS5 post-launch. There's no timeline on when that is coming. There will be changing seasons in the game. The Tokyo City features neon lights and towering buildings, and more details will be coming in early 2026. I would absolutely take this bet here that it is going to be at the Developer Direct, which they do at the beginning of every year. They'll give you a deep dive into the studio and show off more of the game. So that was the big first party Xbox game here that was highlighted at this showcase. It wasn't a surprise because all the leaks that did come out, but that's great. It's a phenomenal series and a phenomenal game, and we will be playing this in 2026, which highlights you got Gears, you got Forza, and you're going to have a new Halo in 2026. Next year is going to be absolutely crazy for the Xbox platform. One thing we did not get, however, at the Tokyo Game Show showcase was ROG Xbox Ally pricing and pre-order information, which is kind of wild. Instead, we got it later that night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Xbox dropped an Xbox Wire article, and all of the pre-order links went up in 38 countries. You could go ahead and pre-order it right away, and they gave the official pricing. Now, the pricing actually came in higher than what we were seeing in the leaks. I thought it was going to come in at $899 for the ROG Ally X, but it is coming in at $1,000. So $999.99 for the ROG Xbox Ally X, and then $599.99, so $600 for the ROG Xbox Ally. They put out this post here, 8 p.m. Pre-orders now live in 38 countries. $999 or $1,000 for the Ally X, $600 for the Ally, and they show you exactly where you're going to be able to pre-order it. Now, the pricing is a very interesting thing here, at least for the Ally X. To me, it makes the regular Ally a much easier sell for a lot of people if they want to get into that Xbox experience right away, day one, for the first handheld device that is going to have all of this stuff, and they don't care about having the highest end. The regular Ally at $600, I would say, is relatively reasonable, and there will be a lot easier for people to go ahead and purchase. But the $1,000 price tag for the Ally X is steep. It's not out of line, though, comparatively to everything else that is out there. You take a look at the current PC handhelds that are coming out on the market, the ones that are out there right now, even with the Z1 Extreme, it's not completely out of line. It does fall in place. It's not a price that is out in left field comparatively to the other products out there. You think about the Lenovo Legion Go 2, that's going to be starting at $1,100, although that does have a bigger 8-inch OLED display. And I think that is probably the better device if you're going all the way into the premium market. But I'm super curious as to how well this thing will sell. You have a lot of people out there saying that it's dead on arrival. It's not going to do well at all. And I just don't see that. I think it will sell to the market that they are targeting, specifically with the Ally X. Like, they are not targeting the casual gamer with this thing. They aren't targeting the mom and dad who are going out there to buy it for their kids. They are targeting the gamer that is a hardcore gamer, always wants the cutting edge when it comes to any gaming device, whether that is a console, handheld, or a PC. That's exactly who they're looking to sell this thing to. I don't think it's going to fly off the shelf, but I do believe that people who are interested in the best, in the top of the line, will end up purchasing this product, and I can see it being pre-ordered by a decent amount of those gamers right off of the bat. The $1,000 price tag, though, that is $100 more than what all the leaks were saying, at least in the US dollars. And yeah, people are going to be potentially walking away who were thinking about picking one of these up on day one. And because you can get alternatives out there, you can get Z1 Extremes that are still very good handhelds that will do the job, and those will probably drop down in price now that we're getting the Z2E chips that are coming from Lenovo Legion Go 2 and the ROG Xbox Ally X. So now we know all the information. Still coming on October 16th. Is now available for pre-order, and now we know the pricing. And I did see the inventory levels, at least in Canada, were pretty high. So this isn't something like it's going to be that hard to get, I don't believe, if you do want to pick one up here with a pre-order before they do end up selling out. You shouldn't be having to be on a link within 30 seconds of them dropping. And maybe if you even go look right now, they may still be available depending on the country that you are in. But I would love to know your thoughts below as to what you guys think about specifically the $1,000 price tag here for the ROG Xbox Ally X. Now, those were two of the things that one I thought was going to occur that didn't occur, and the one I thought was going to occur that did occur. But there were some other things here that showed up at the show. One of the games that they kicked it off, which I'm actually, this is pretty cool because I've played the older game of this, the older version, and it's not the best game in the world. It doesn't have great reviews, but I have fun. It's just kind of dumb fun. Gungrave Gore. They're getting a new fully rebuilt game here for the Xbox Series X and S. Gungrave Gore Blood Heat brings a fully rebuilt action shooter to the Xbox Series X and S. They say, wake up, gunslingers. Gungrave Gore Blood Heat is the fully rebuilt version of Gungrave Gore, featuring a modernized system with a new engine and enhanced visual quality, which this game needs a new engine, and it needs that enhanced visual quality, which is great. New systems, more refined characters and background visuals, the return of heritage-exclusive characters, and more. Get ready for the completely transformed Gungrave Gore Blood Heat. I'm actually pretty pumped for this one because I did play the first one. And although it's not a great game, I had fun with it. So seeing them bring this back here, rebuilding it, and hopefully actually turning it into a very good game something I'm absolutely looking forward to. That kind of kicked off the show. And besides that, they had a tons of announcements. There's, I think, about 25 games that they showed off at this show. I'm not going to go through them all, but the things that I do like to highlight is what's coming to Game Pass. And now the other major feature is what's coming to Xbox Play Anywhere. And here is what you're going to be able to get here for Game Pass. These are the games that were shown off: Black Ops 7, Ninja Gaiden 4, Fallout 76, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, Forza Horizon 6, Winter Burrow, and Terminal Brigade, which is actually currently available right now on Xbox PC, and then I believe coming to the console in October, a PvE looter shooter. I've downloaded it. I'm going to check it out and see what this game is all about. So those are the Game Pass announcements. And then Xbox Play Anywhere. So many. They're continuously pushing this, and I do believe the future is going to be most games have this feature, which is the best thing because Xbox now basically is everything. There's a huge list here: Age of Mythology, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, Ninja Gaiden 4, Flight Simulator, Forza Horizon 6, Animo, which kind of looks like Everwild and stuff, like a spiritual successor to a canceled game. Gives me that kind of vibe. Rhythm Doctor. You got the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remakes coming over to Play Anywhere. Square Enix loves this Play Anywhere feature. They've put most of their games on there, and we're going to probably see most of them in the future as well have Play Anywhere, which is awesome. Gungrave Gore, Blood Heat, Hotel Barcelona, Mistfall Hunter, Project Evil Bane, which looks really cool. Go check out the trailer for that. That one absolutely does have my attention. Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven. Cool to see that game now landing on Xbox. Star Sand Island, Terminal Brigade, and Winter Bureau. So they showed off, I believe, 25 games in total. 16 of those are going to Xbox Play Anywhere, which is a majority of the show. And that to me is a bright sign for the future as to what we can expect on the Xbox platform when new games do launch. And when you get big hitters like Ninja Gaiden 4 and Call of Duty in Play Anywhere, it's just such a differentiating factor than purchasing the game on a different platform, because I'd say most people now, or at least most adults at this point, have multiple devices where they can play their games. I mean, actually pretty much everyone does when you have the cloud included in that, when you can play on your phone. So having this feature here is extremely important, to Play Anywhere, the cloud access, and that is going to be what Xbox really tries to sell here in order to push more people jumping into Xbox versus going and buying a game somewhere else or going onto a different ecosystem. Either way, if they sell their game, that's really at the end of the day all they care about. So that was Tokyo Game Show. Those are kind of the highlights to me. It was okay. It was decent. It wasn't their best show in the world. I enjoy the games that they show off at the showcase. For a lot of people, I would say in the West, probably saw this show and didn't have very much interest for most things. But for me personally, I thought it was an okay show, and many games in there I will end up playing at some point. In fact, if you're looking to play something right now, there are 2 games that became available in Xbox Game Pass, and 2 good ones here. You got Visions of Mana that's playable right now in Game Pass, and then you have Terminal Brigade, which is also available, which again is that looter shooter PvE game that they showed off at the showcase. So both of those games I will try out and play. This is, again, so many games to jump into. But that is the Tokyo Game Show. Now we just kind of wait for deeper dives. We wait for more Xbox ROG Ally pricing and things like that to come out of the show in the next few days of TGS, which will end up continuing. The State of Play did happen the other day. One of the things I always like to highlight, because PlayStation does a very good job at making people believe that the games shown off at that showcase are only available on PlayStation, which is never the fact. But here are the ones coming to Xbox if you're on the platform that were shown off at the State of Play, which is why I think the State of Play was decent as well, because these are all good games that people and myself will want to check out. Battlefield 6 was shown off, Deus Ex Remastered, which is super cool to see them bringing this one back, Halloween, Sonic Racing Crossworlds. This game looks like it could rival Mario Kart. They have a really good roster, and I like kart racing games, so that's cool. Code Vein 2, Final Fantasy Tactics, The Evilest Chronicles, which is getting phenomenal reviews. Crimson Desert, which this game is going to be a huge one. I believe there's going to be a lot to talk about when this one does end up dropping. They showed off another trailer and it looks phenomenal. And then Dynasty Warriors 3, the complete edition remastered, is also here coming over to Xbox. So many games that are dropping. So many things to go over, so many things to play. We are at a time right now where being a gamer, you really have to pick and choose what you want to play because it's impossible to try and get to everything. You just don't really have the time, or at least most people don't have the time unless it's literally the only thing you're doing nonstop because we're getting Game Pass. We're getting new releases. We're getting the whole Play Anywhere feature. So it's always with you on the go, and the releases are nonstop. The PlayStation 5 Pro, let's talk some PlayStation now here. It looks like a new version is being released later this month, which is something that PlayStation generally does with their consoles. They release them kind of silently, a new version, different components inside, make it cheaper and try to make more money off of it. The PS5 Pro, I think, as of right now, has been somewhat of a disappointment. I don't really see the massive benefits to it. You've seen a lot of people talk about it, how at this point, you're not really getting the full PSSR, the full features of it. It's not really making huge differences in games. So is it really worth it at this point? Well, they're trying to make it cheaper and probably try to push more PS5 Pros to be sold so that they can make more money off of them. And here is the story. New PS5 Pro version being released later this month. It is being claimed as of right now. But in the recent reports, the newer version of the PS5 Slim was revisited after it was quietly released in Europe. And this one has the smaller SSD going down to 825 gigabytes from 1 terabyte. Now, the same outlet has reported that a new version of the PS5 Pro is set to be released later this month in the European market under the product designation CFI 7121, but the modifications to the unit are unclear. We don't know exactly what that could mean, but I would guess some components inside are changing. They say, on the other hand, one point seems to be confirmed. No reduction in storage capacity is expected. It would be insane if they reduced the storage capacity on the PS5 Pro after, again, raising the prices on it. And the PS5 Pro CFI 7121 would thus retain its 2 terabyte of SSD storage without modifying its exterior design. And the report from Deal Labs also noted that there's no indication of when this PS5 Pro model will be released, but it will remain at the fixed 800 euros, which is still very expensive. And that's where everything is very expensive now. I mean, you take a look at the increases on the Xbox consoles, you're taking a look at the prices of some of these handhelds that are coming out. Getting into gaming now is becoming more and more a luxury item. And at the same time, these companies are trying to find ways to reduce their costs of these consoles, even if it means taking away value, like reducing the SSD storage and then selling the console at the same price. Right, Tencent, they are losing a studio as Splash Damage is breaking away from Tencent. Now, Splash Damage, you may not know too much about them, but if you've played something like Gears of War Tactics, you have played their games, and they're a pretty decent studio. They are moving away from Tencent. The UK-based studio confirmed in the statement that it would continue to operate under its existing leadership team, but it will be moving independent as it has been acquired by private equity investors. They say, looking ahead, we've got some pretty ambitious plans for our next decade that we had already started on before this acquisition. Now we're able to accelerate those. As one of the founders of the studio, I can also say that this is the most excited I've ever been from where we are headed. They've made some great games out there. Like I said, Gears of War Tactics. If you've played that one, it's a great strategy game. They've also made some other games here, like the Wolfenstein expansion Enemy Territory. And they say here that they announced that they are working on Transformers Reactivate, which in 2023 revealed as a open world survival game, codenamed Project Astrid. So we'll see exactly what that is when they do end up, I guess, showing it off officially. But this is a move here that private equity firm is coming in. I'm sure Tencent was looking to offload and they got somebody to purchase it up. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these major companies out here that have purchased a bunch of studios start looking at their spreadsheets and thinking which ones are less profitable, which ones are less successful, and then maybe trying to make some deals as we move forward here, as the industry is in a place where we've seen cancellations and layoffs. And finally, Battlefield 6 got a new Portal trailer with a bunch of new details. So the Battlefield Portal, it's not a new game. It is an evolution of the game, they say, in a big way, an evolution of a game mode. And the trail released here shows that the players can now create their own experience and maps from the ground up rather than being limited to presets like they were in 2024, which will make Battlefield 6 last very long if it's successful, because people will continuously make things similar to what we see in Halo with Forge, how people are still playing the old Halos because of all of the cool stuff that people have created. They say here that in addition to Battlefield Portal trailers, several content creators were also giving more details on the opportunity to play the game mode ahead of its October 10th release. This game is out very, very soon. And one of the major features of Battlefield Portal is that players, no matter what they play, will have the opportunity to earn XP. And to get around XP boosting modes with the verified creator badge will offer full XP to players, but custom modes will offer a limited amount of XP based on the amount of time played in that mode. Because you make an easy mode where you're getting tons of XP, you just go in there and level up fast. They're already planning for people trying to do that. So this is launching here October 10th, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. And we're going to see, I think, some pretty cool stuff out of this, as some of the most creative game modes, some of the most creative parts of games come from the gamers and the creators themselves. And sometimes they even get hired to work on the game in the future. But I'll end the video there. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.